Hey, what is up guys, and this is Ransom4, and today I'm going to show you my deck profile for my Infernoids for the April 1st, 2014 ban list, which just occurred in the past 4 days ago, so I am really excited for this format, mostly due to vanities and skill and getting hit to 1. No, so I'm preparing myself for the ban list by preparing. So this is my main deck, extra deck, and this is my side deck. But just like the original beast, the side deck is not that great, but it is in progress. But it is definitely in progress. I unfortunately did not use this in my locals yesterday, where the April 1st ban list took place. I was using Virtual Beast, which I did good with, but I did lose to the final round against Cleveland 2-0 because I got breaked hands. Couldn't really do that much, so. But I did mostly been using my Infernoids for fun duels, and this is basically, for basically on one hand, I think the deck did get nerfed because Blast is gone, so you lost that option to destroy back row and OTK. And because that Snatch Steel's gone, you can't use Hidden Armor anymore. But on the other hand, it did get buffed because Skill Drain Vanities are at 1, and Charger Blind went to 2, which was probably one of the most unexpected changes they made to the ban list. But I really liked how they did. The deck right now is definitely better, but it still can get break hands and stuff. But once the new support comes out in Crossover Souls, it's definitely going to be a much better deck. And I think it could be potentially be one of the best OTK decks in the meta right now. So without further ado, we're going to get started with the main deck. So I'm going to get these out of the way. And give me 1 sec, people. Alright. So to start off with the monster section, to start with Infernoids, we run 3 Infernoid. Andra, he's the compulsor of the deck. You target one face-up monster on the field, and you get to return the hand. Though, personally, when we get the new support, I'm probably going to move him down to 2, because I honestly feel he's not going to be that good against most decks. He is, however, very good against Shadows, because you can return a fusion monster, their field, back to their hand, and you don't have to worry about the graveyard effects. He's good right now, but once we get new support, I'm going to bump him to 2, because Shaitan is probably the better card. Next up, 3 copies of Infernoid Harmor deck. Personally, I think he's overhyped, and I think he's way too overpriced. I understand he's hard to pull, but I don't get the purpose, though. Honestly, in my opinion, I think he's one of the worst of the Infernoids. His effect's not too bad that you can destroy a monster on the field, but it's not good in today's meta where most decks get pluses when they get destroyed and sent to the grave, like Yang Zings, Burning Abyss, Shadows, in those decks. So once again, I think when more of its support comes out, I'm either going to bump this down to 2, or I'm going to bump it down to 1, because I don't think he's not that great. But for now, you probably might as well run 3 of them, for sure, extra resources. Then we run 3 Patrulia. Even with Shaitan coming out, I'm probably still going to keep this guy at 3. He is the MST of the Infernoids, destroys a spell trap on the field, but on the turn he uses this effect, he cannot attack. But that's going to be fine. I mostly use him as either fodder for either Monster Game, another Inferno, or I can use it for a rank 4 or level 8 Synchro play. Depends specifically. Yeah. And for higher levels, I run 3 Infernoid Seismists. Probably one of my personal favorite Infernoids, because when he attacks a monster, he doesn't have to destroy it. Once he attacks a monster, you can choose one card field, and this effect does not target. You bash one card in the field, so you can bash a big pesky monster your Infernoids can't get over, and this card pretty much fixes that issue. And I really like the card for it. And sorry for Gorilla photography style here, so I do apologize. I don't have a stand or anything, so please excuse me. And next up, 3 Atanda, which is one of your best OTK cards to go into, is the Blacklisted Soldier. When he destroys a monster since the graveyard, he can attack again, but only 1 more attack. And it's a good card against every other deck, but not that good against Cleaves, because the Cleavers don't go to the graveyard. They instead go extra deck, which is why that personally I prefer using Seismists against the matchup, because at least if I attack 1 Cleaver monster, I can target 1 card, field, banish it, and then I can activate Void Seer to protect it. And basically, Void Seer will go off, then Skill Drain, but personally depends on the Cleaver. And final card, I won 2 Anonku, which I'll probably keep him at 2 when the new support comes out. But he's the Dark Hold deck, and he's also pretty much like a Dark Bribe card in a way. And you get the spell track card, Vision. You get it and you banish that card. Really good against, it's a fantastic card against Shadows in the cross, because if they activate their spell card from the graveyard, you can basically negate their card and banish it from play. And I feel Infernoids can have a very difficult time against Necros, simply due to the Vision lock, but also maybe some other side deck cards. But that's about it. But I really think Noko's really good. But once we get Lilith with this guy, Lilith and Noko's going to be such a good cards against most of the meta decks. And that's it for the Infernoids. For the non-Inferno cards, I actually am using this card as a gimmick until we get Decatron. It's actually Backjack. If you don't know what this card does is, during your opponent's turn, you can banish this card and you excavate the top card of your deck. And if it's a normal trap card, you can activate it. You can set it face down and activate the same turn. If it's not, it goes to the graveyard. But that goes along very well with his next effect. His next effect is that when he gets sent to the graveyard, it doesn't matter which way he gets sent, you get to look at your top 3 cards and you can adjust them in any order you want. And this is actually really good because you get to see whether or not if you get reason or not. So let's say, for example, okay, you get an Infernoid and you get, say, a dead MST and a dead, but you want to get reason. You basically would put this card's top card, reason's middle card, and MST is your bottom card. Now during your opponent's end phase, you bash your Backjack, because you can use both effects the same turn, but you can use each one once per turn. So you bash it, you send your Noko to the grave, or any Inferno, doesn't matter which one, and then when your turn comes in, you draw a reasoning and you can use it. It's a gimmicky card, I know. It's not as fast or as many pluses as Inferno Decatron, but I actually think he has some potential to work with the Infernoids. But honestly, I feel he's more better to use at just 1, because I feel 3's too coggy. 2, I'm debating whether or not if I should keep him in, but it's going to depend. And next up for Light Sworn stuff, I unfortunately don't have another Raiden, so I'm only running Run, and I run 1 Lila. But I'm personally going to take out the Lila for the second Raiden. Because honestly, I feel you don't really need Lila as much as often, but it's gonna depend. And then I run 1 Card Trooper for the level 3 in case if they call level 4. And this is actually another gimmicky card, but I think he's really good with the Infernoids, is Jinzo. So Jinzo's actually very surprisingly really good with this deck. You summon this guy, use our tribute summon him, the opponent's back row just shuts him down. There was actually one local I went to, it was on the last tournament before our last local tournament before the April 1st ban list did. I forgot I actually changed this for the April 1st ban list. I played against my friends, before he moved out, he used Satella. Not to me. I played Jinzo on the field. I basically stopped his back row. And I pretty much stunned him with this card. It's really good. Dude, I just love this. I just love Jinzo. It just sucks that he's not used much in tournament play anymore. That just sucks. And next up for the spell cards deck, again, sorry for Gorilla here. I won the 3 copies of MST, but honestly, I may put this down to 2, or maybe just 1 MST, side deck the other 2, and put in 1 Galaxy Cyclone with 1 MST. Because, honestly, I feel MST is not going to be as mandatory in this deck as much. Yes, you still get Imperial Firewall, and Vanities, and Skills which still hurt the deck, but because those cards went to 1, except Imperial Firewall, of course, it's basically not as irrelevant as it was, but it still is useful. You probably might as well still run at least 2 of them, or if you do fear those cards a lot, you can run them at 3. And then I run, sorry about that, I run 3 Reasoning, no explanation there, and it's probably one of the reasons I want to put MST down to 2, is because I'm probably going to bump Void Seer to 3, because the card I feel is going to be much better in this format. You don't have to worry as much about these cards as possible. You don't have to worry about them too much. And I just love Void Seer in general. It's just a fantastic Forbidden Lands card for them. You get you get to use Lilith or no Crucifix, and then you use Void Seer to protect the card. It's just amazingly good. And final staples, since Charger Light Brigade went to 2, I put in 2 Charger Light Brigade. Again, specifically for more milling, and it just buffs the milling in the deck. And I want 1 Dark Hole, but honestly, I may take out Dark Hole for Raigeki. No, but it doesn't hurt you too much because you can refill the bash, refill your thing, you refill your field either way. So but until then, I'm gonna use Raigeki. 1 Barrier from Different Dimension and 1 Monster Gate. And that's it for spells and the truck cards. I already won 4 traps. I won 2 Void Launch, which I actually am starting to like this card. Yes, it is a slow card. It definitely is kind of slow. But if you do keep this guy in the field for as long as possible, maybe by Noko to protect or something, you could fill up the graveyard with a lot of Infernoids. Not as fast as Reasoning or Monster Gate. Definitely not as fast. I agree with that. But you still get to fill up the graveyard. It's just there fodder. And the final 2 cards, I run 2 Needle Bug Nest. But personally, I don't like Needle Bug Nest as much as I like Foil Launch, because I don't know what my top 5 cards are going to be. So personally, I would rather take these out for maybe a different type of card. I'll probably take these out for Void Trap Hole when we get Frozen Void and Crossroads Souls, because that's pretty much the searcher of the deck. You get to search for a Void spell trapped by the Scarring card, which is useful. So personally, I'll get Void Trap Hole and replace it with Needle Bug Nest, because I feel that card is going to be really good, because Frozen Void can search for any Void spell trap that is Void in its name. So that makes Void Trap Hole much trap. That's it for the whole deck. For extra deck, it's not that great of an extra deck. It's nothing like my Death Pro version, but it is a decent one. I'm gonna start off from the highest ranks. I run one Izir the 7 High Protector. You might be wondering why I put him in this deck. The simple reason is because of the effect where is that once per turn you declare a card name from the top of your deck. If it's the card is the name you declare, you add it to your hand. But the reason I like the effect is that because you do use Card Trooper and Raiden, if you special summon by Reasoning, you can basically use this guy's effect to, well, first you would use Raiden Card Trooper effect, excavate top cards, send them to the grave, use this effect, you return back to your deck, to the top of your deck. Now you get to summon an Infernoid monster. If you want to, you could tribute him because he's a giant defensive card with 3200 defense, which is good. And then you get to do all that crap, and you get to use his effect. Normal Stun Rider, Card Trooper, use the effect again. Use that again. But again, you can fill up. And one combo I did find out is that if you actually get a right amount of milling, you could end up with a Nonku, a Tundell, and a Card Trooper on the field. And, well, originally it also included Blaster, but since he's gone, those are the only 3 cards you can use. But it's definitely a really good card either way. And then I run one Divine Dragon Felgrad, no explanation, just real good card, works really well with it, although you won't summon him as much because you don't use the extra deck except for the new Void Dream card, but that's all that matters. And one Lavalval Chain, yes, this is the Gold run, I finally pulled it. This card is surprisingly pretty good with the deck, especially with Backjack. You can send one to the graveyard, see your next top 3 cards, and then next turn you get to set up, which is pretty awesome. And we run one Downer Magician, just most namely for the Burning Abyss matchup. Not bad with other decks, but mostly for Burning Abyss. One Jedi Pearl, obviously to take advantage of the Infernoid summoning restrictions or summoning conditions. One Mecha Equipped Engineer, one Acid Golem, and one Wind Up Zen Mains. He's just no explanation. I like Wind Up Zen Mains just to play on the defensive side if I want to. And for Synchros, I run one Goyo Guardian. Hin, no explanation, one Guided. Again, just like Jedi Pearl, just to take advantage of the full advantage of the Infernoid summoning restrictions. And I run Black Feather Darkness Dragon. I actually like this card with the Infernus because every time you take damage, you basically get to send the top 5 cards of your deck to the graveyard. And I'm actually thinking maybe what you could do is that I'm thinking of putting Ring of Destruction too in this deck, because if I use that in combination with this, I get to mill top 5 cards for free, and also destroy my opponent's monster at the same time, which is actually pretty damn good. Good in my opinion. And next up, I won one Ancient Sacred Wyvern. I am going to still put in Michael, but I'm debating whether or not if I should put it in there. I like Michael a bit better because you get the Banishing card push for all decays, but I like this card too because if you attack, this guy's attack goes up too, which I think is pretty good. Though I'm debating, but I like the card. Then I won one Crimson Blader. Obviously, for obvious reasons, you want to stun your opponent. And last card is Star Eater. I believe that's 15 monsters in the extra deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, I'm apparently missing one, but either way. That's it for the main monster in the extra deck.